Welcome to MKG222 Marketing of Social Causes, Social Cause Intervention Plan for the Overuse of Electrical Appliances. The overuse and disregard of electrical appliances in youth is increasing due to the availability of technologies, situational factors, lack of knowledge, and understanding. The main objective of this presentation is to outline an intervention plan which encourages students to make the environmental switch by simply switching off unused lights. The intervention plan will discuss the aim, potential partners, important stakeholders, a product, price, place, and promotion strategy. This presentation will also focus on a creative strategy, media planning, ethical considerations, and potential unintended consequences, which is aimed at the target market of students. This presentation has been prepared by Shanae Valigura. This presentation provides a background describing the social cause of the overuse of electrical appliances, a leading cause of global warming. A target market has been identified for a guideline in creating a successful intervention plan in order to reduce disregarding environmental behaviours and encourage one of a pro-environmental manner. An overview of the social cause has been provided, relating to both environmental and human health impacts. The first part of the presentation is based on multiple sources in order to establish a clear and concise overview of the cause. Then, the presentation will explain the topic in depth. A literature review was utilised to gather key findings through critical sources, which provides an overview of key themes and gaps which emerged within research conducted on the target market and their environmental behaviours. Themes relating to the theory of planned behaviour arose. Subjective norms, attitudes, and perceived behavioural controls were identified as key influences on the target market regarding the social cause. Gaps emerged in relation to gender, lack of accessibility, knowledge, and that students adapted to game-based learning approaches more than traditional modes of teaching. The theory of planned behaviour has been utilised and altered to identify external influences resulting in an intervention campaign being applied within the framework to achieve the anticipated behaviour outcome. Lastly, the social cause intervention plan was developed to deliver the message through celebrity endorsement, utilising Jonathan Thurston, a relevant figure who is passionate about the cause. The intervention plan is further communicated through a social networking campaign with potential partner Facebook. Both ethical considerations and unintended consequences were considered with methods to address these issues supplied. This slide shows the table of contents which displays what each slide will discuss throughout the presentation. Australia is home to the largest coral reef ecosystem on Earth, the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is one of Australia's major tourist attractions, generating $6.4 billion annually to the Australian economy. In 2018, a study revealed that 29% of the 3,000 coral reefs that make up the reef lost at least two-thirds of the coral reef groups following the extreme marine heat wave in 2016. This irreversible devastation is a result of global warming, and one of the ways this is caused is by the overuse of electrical appliances. Attitudes towards the environment are determined by situational factors such as lifestyles, education, social backgrounds, and income. The lack of knowledge and applied action regarding human-induced global warming is putting both the environment and humankind at serious risk. The process of segmenting a larger market into small groups of consumers who share homogeneous characteristics is known as market segmentation. The target market have been segmented through four main methods of segmentation: demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioural influences. This table represents the segment of the market who are least likely to commit to taking environmentally favourable actions such as reducing electrical appliances, as highlighted in the literature review. The identified target market portrays the characteristics of being of a lower income or family income, male students aged between 13 and 21 years old, less educated, living with only one or primarily of male influence, living in suburban or highly populated areas such as large cities. The target market were found to have restricted access to resources of information such as internet, magazines, and mass media. The target market would also share behavioural characteristics of low levels of achievement and lack of knowledge. Though the market has restricted access to resources of information, studies have shown that the market spend roughly 8 to 10 hours daily on a mobile phone device. Therefore, a marketing perspective would suggest that the market would most likely be reached through a mobile phone device. The overuse and disregard of electrical appliances in youth is on the rise due to the availability of technologies, socio-demographic variables, and social psychological constructs such as situational factors, lack of knowledge, and lack of understanding. Overran electrical appliances are one of the leading causes of global warming. Global warming is a result of increased levels of greenhouse gases found within the Earth's atmosphere. These gases are produced by increased carbon emissions from rapid urban development and, when built up, causes global temperatures to rise, resulting in warmer ocean waters. Rising ocean temperatures results in illness of aquatic flora and fauna such as coral bleaching, with the worst coral bleaching event to affect the reef taking place in 2016. Inadequate education and knowledge surrounding human-induced global warming is one of the greatest threats to the future of the Great Barrier Reef. A study targeting students aged between 13 and 18 recorded that only 50% of students believed that they were informed about global warming. The same study also found that 45% of students believe that reducing the amount of electricity in their homes decreases global warming. To reduce greenhouse gas emissions, action must be taken through government, corporate, community, and individual responsibility. Attitudes towards the environment, situational factors such as lifestyles, education, and income all determine the ease of taking action for the target audience. The target audience has been identified as low-income earning or who are from a low-income family, male, aged between 13 and 21, with a low level of achievement, lack of knowledge, and who are living primarily with male influence. For a behavioural change to occur, the target audience must be encouraged through simple interventions to modify their behaviour, which has the potential to establish a new habit or repeated behaviour. The encouraged behaviour will focus on switching the current behaviour of ignorance from the target audience in regards to the overuse of electrical appliances to simply switching off light switches when they are not needed. Studies show that secondary students show high levels of willingness to act by switching off electrical appliances when not in use, willingness to pay a premium price for electricity generated by nuclear energy, and to use energy-efficient domestic appliances. As previously stated, only 45% of students interviewed actually believed that reduction of energy used by themselves had the ability to reduce greenhouse gases. However, it's known that the target audience are more concerned with bigger picture issues than themselves, and at least 3/4 of further education responded all courses should incorporate and promote sustainable development. The lack of knowledge and applied action regarding human-induced global warming is not only killing Australia's greatest natural wonder, but positions humankind at risk also, through contamination, consumption, and economic issues. Evidently, a behaviour change regarding global warming and the effect it has on the Great Barrier Reef must be implemented. This implementation could occur through social means such as encouraging and teaching youth about reducing their carbon footprint, primarily focusing on the individuals switching light switches off when necessary to ensure the sustainability of the Great Barrier Reef for future generations. A critique of credible information identifying key themes, gaps, and behaviour patterns within research conducted on the social cause of the overuse of electrical appliances was completed on the topic. Significant reference was made to the theory of planned behaviour throughout the majority of the articles, and major trends were recognised. Reference was made to the segmentation factors to demonstrate how they influence an individual to limit electrical appliance usage. Findings state that a higher educated individual living in an urban area aged between 13 and 22 with a high income and/or family income have more of a positive attitude and are more likely to act by adopting a pro-environmental behaviour. Two main factors that were identified which are influential towards students' environmental behaviours are cognitive and situational factors. However, it was found that knowledge itself is not a prerequisite for environmental action. Individuals such as parents, peers, and teachers were subjective norms which were found to influence students. However, situational factors were found to intervene in the development, change, and maintenance of attitudes and environmental behaviours. In terms of the theory of planned behaviour, subjective norms, perceived behavioural controls, and attitudes all appeared to play significant roles in each student, with some influences more significant than others. It is evident that there is a discrepancy between attitudes and behaviour, with findings showing that individuals must have the ability to identify structural and personal causes and develop their own abilities to influence and change the behaviour. Procrastination within the target audience was found to be a contributing factor and makes the energy choice behaviour more serious as it is intangible and invisible. In terms of a pro-environmental behaviour, two major themes were identified as socio-demographic variables and social psychological constructs. There were also findings that the application of social cognitive perspectives helped to understand process links to social context in classrooms to motivation, engagement, and achievement of students. In terms of the theory of play and behaviour, subjective norms, perceived behavioural controls, and attitudes all appeared to play significant roles in each student, with some influences more significant than others. It is evident that there is a discrepancy between attitudes and behaviour, with findings showing that individuals must have the ability to identify structural and personal causes and develop their own abilities to influence and change the behaviour. Procrastination within the target audience was found to be a contributing factor and makes the energy choice behaviour more serious as it is intangible and invisible. In terms of a pro-environmental behaviour, two major themes were identified as socio-demographic variables and social psychological constructs. There were also findings that the application of social cognitive perspectives helped to understand process links to social context in classrooms to motivation, engagement, and achievement of students. Another trending gap appeared in the research which found students responded to a game-based learning approach above traditional teaching approaches, which supports evidence of gaps between contemporary educational research and knowledge. Overall, students felt that by learning about environmental issues, they are given the opportunity for general self-improvement which contributed to life skills. The theory of play and behaviour has been altered to represent the key variables which drive the target market towards adopting the favourable behaviour of switching off unused electrical appliances. The intention to change behaviour is based on their attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavioural control. As previously stated, the favoured attitude of switching off unused appliances, like the light switch, with the student knowing that the act is contributing to the bigger picture, is highly influenced by subjective norms such as parents and peers, adopting and approving of this behaviour. The perceived behavioural control also contributes with the individual knowing that they can take this sustainable behaviour one step further, like turning off the appliance and then unplugging it. The model portrays the impact that social and moral norms, as well as peers and parental influences, have on the behaviour outcome. And, through their significance, the downstream intervention campaign strategy has been implemented. The intervention plan can be defined as an activity campaign which incorporates a downstream interventional approach. The interventional campaign has a lifespan of 1 to 2 years. The intervention will be in a form of an app which the target market can download for free onto their mobile device to adopt the new favoured behaviour of switching off a switch to reduce their carbon footprint. The intervention will aim to educate these individuals on the risks associated with human health and the environment in regards to their personal carbon footprints. The primary aim of the intervention campaign is to encourage males between 13 and 21 to adopt a pro-environmental behaviour. The intervention will create awareness about the damage caused towards the environment by human-induced global warming and target barriers which will prevent the desired behavioural change. Potential partners and important stakeholders could vary between organisations such as the Queensland Education Department, Woolworths, Facebook, the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, and the Australian Government. Starting off with the potential partners, the Queensland Education Department would be an ideal partner as the Education Department aligns with the objectives of their campaign. Their primary role and responsibility would include the implementation of their campaign, distributing the message throughout secondary classrooms throughout the state. Roles and responsibilities from partner Woolworths would be the supply of monetary incentives, such as vouchers. Facebook's roles and responsibilities would consist of promotion. The social media platform would be responsible for distributing the messages via posts and videos on the target market's feed. Lastly, the Great Barrier Reef Foundation would be one of the faces of the foundation, as the foundation's passion and interest mirrors the social cause, has value knowledge, and is built around the concept of protecting the Great Barrier Reef. The ideal important stakeholder would be the Australian Government. The Australian Government would provide financial stability and campaign funding, which would deliver prestige and give the campaign a higher status, which would increase the adoption rate. The product strategy involves the application of the core product, actual product, and augmented product, in which the target market will wish to obtain through the behaviour change involvement with the social cause. The core product is the benefit or satisfaction that a consumer would expect from a good or service. In regard to the social cause, the core product aims to reduce carbon footprints which minimise global warming impacts on the environment. The actual product is the specific way to achieve the desired behaviour, which in this case of the social cause, this is to encourage pro-environmental behaviour. Finally, the augmented product is what is used to assist performing the desired behaviour. This could involve the implementation of an activity-based free mobile app campaign. By offering incentives to the target market through the implementation of the app, the desired behaviour may be adopted with ease. Price plays a fundamental role in the adoption of the pro-environmental behaviour of switching off light switches while not in use. Price is the amount expected, required, or given in payment for a product or service. Therefore, in this case of the intervention plan, price is the cost that the target market will associate with the adoption of the desired behaviour. Price may be a barrier to behavioural change, therefore it is vital to limit monetary and non-monetary barriers so that the target market will be more inclined to adopt the desired behaviour. Though the intervention may not associate monetary barriers for the consumer, non-monetary barriers may apply to the target market. These non-monetary barriers consist of time, effort, psychological and physical discomfort. To overcome these price barriers, monetary and non-monetary price barriers have been reduced. Monetary price barriers avoided as the downloadable app is free of charge to the consumer. Monetary incentives have been offered and integrated within the application system to overcome non-monetary barriers. This pledge to follow through with the desired behaviour creates psychological or personal benefits. Within the marketing sector, place refers to the distribution of the marketing campaign message. The aim of social marketing place strategy is to make the messages as convenient and pleasant as possible, reduce accessibility barriers, minimize time barriers, remove psychological barriers, and make the competing behaviour less convenient. Studies show that 78% of the target market own a mobile phone device, with their primary uses being social networking and news update purposes. This information suggests that the ideal place strategy for communicating the intervention campaign is via a mobile phone device and social networking platforms. The promotional strategy is made up of persuasive messages designed and delivered to inspire the target audience to action. The promotional strategy for this intervention campaign aims to ensure that the target market become aware of the devastating, irreversible impacts of human-induced global warming and gain knowledge on educational decisions. The intervention will partner with the Great Barrier Reef Foundation and incorporate spokesperson Jonathan Thurston, a popular Australian football icon originating from North Queensland. He is passionate about the cause, relatable to the target market to gain attention, social acceptance, higher recall endorsement, and testimonials. The promotion will be shared via partner Facebook, with a positive message encouraging the pro-environmental behaviour with the incentive approach via posts and videos. This approach will initially be heavily advertised on social media sites utilising mass saturation advertising. As the intervention campaign is government funded, the strategy is not based with budget restrictions and would prove as effective as possible. The intervention would adopt product-level branding, with the campaign being called Flick the Switch. The creative strategy will be a free mobile application which uses a systematic incentive approach to aid the desired behaviour change. Once the app is launched, the application asks for permission to connect to the user's energy provider and requires a 10-question questionnaire which will determine the level of knowledge of the user regarding the social cause. While the application is running, the user will be prompted each time by the application with an environmental fact to build knowledge. The application will be highly visual, communicating to the user how much energy they have saved in a visual sense to younger users and a monetary sense to the older ones. In regards to the target market, this intervention was found most appropriate as statistics show that males between the ages of 13 and 21 are on their mobile devices for an average of 8 to 10 hours daily. The behaviour change focuses on changing the attitude of disregard and inconvenience to a pro-environmental attitude. Therefore, the app will provide a positive message to assist this behavioural change. Once linked to the energy provider, the app will automatically collect points through a point system when an electrical appliance is switched off. This will be 5 points. Light switches, in this case, the user will receive double points as this is one of the most commonly overused electrical appliances, so that will receive 10 points. Once the user has collected 1,000 points within the system, the user is able to choose their reward. This reward will be supplied via partners and stakeholders, Woolworths and the Queensland Government, supplying prepaid Visa cards and fuel vouchers. This creative strategy has taken a positive approach to avoid merging the embedded negative perceptions about what it means to care for the environment, for example, being too cool. The negative approach was avoided as the market for environmental campaigns, which has implemented a negative approach, is quite saturated. Therefore, this intervention campaign is aimed at trialling a new perspective. The purpose of evaluation is to help refine activity and to ensure that interventions are effective as possible. Evaluation of the intervention plan will occur over the lifespan of the intervention. Evaluation will be performed through app and social media usage data, analysing the number of downloads, number of visits, and the time spent in the app. The number of surveys completed and Facebook videos watched will also be collected. The conceptual theory suggests that by targeting subjective norms of the target market, the implementation will prove most effective. Therefore, evaluating to decipher that subjective norms being social, peer, parental, and moral were the most influential in terms of the conceptual model theory, the theory can be confirmed as correct and the campaign would prove successful. Challenges of seeking a response in the intervention phase is receiving false hope from the target market, as they may have the intention and interest to use the application, however may not actually follow through with the behaviour. When seeking information from the effect phase, a possible challenge could be the target market not willing to fill out the survey. Ethical considerations are norms that distinguish acceptable from unacceptable behaviour. Ethical considerations in regards to this intervention campaign is the possibility that some segments may be excluded, such as parents, as young adults at the age of 13 will be accessing the application and winning monetary prizes with no supervision. A potential unintended consequence of this is the possibility to plant addiction seeds, which may trigger gambling issues. The ethical considerations can be addressed by asking users under the age of 18 to supply parental permission, and with the unintended consequence addressed being outweighed by the benefits gained. Each time the user accesses the app, pro-environmental pop-up facts will be a constant reminder as to why they are accessing the application in the first place. The aim of this intervention plan is to switch neglecting and disregarding behaviour to pro-environmental behaviour in 13 to 21-year-old males. The intervention would adopt an activity approach campaign via a free downloadable application. The application is linked to the user's energy provider, which tells the user how much energy they are saving when the flick of a switch occurs. The application will provide monetary incentives to the users once 1,000 points are collected. The application will be partnered with the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, Facebook, and Jonathan Thurston to target the target market successfully through social media. The intervention campaign will be funded by the Australian Government, therefore budget restrictions are minimal. Due to the age group of the consumer, parental permission must be granted for users under 18 years of age to avoid the possible unintended consequences of addiction.